Hi, welcome to my next video recording on Azure fundamentals, concept related question, answers, and explanation. This is part 8 of the series of question and answers under concept section. Before we start, so I am presenting 20 questions for 20 minutes every day in almost in every video. When you look into the question, there will be one is a right answer. Try to first find questions for the remaining three options. By this way, you can perform well in your exams by preparing for extra three questions and also you can do very well in the interview preparations. Today, let's start with the first question. A company deploys multiple instances of web applications across three availability zones. The company then configures an Azure networking product to evenly distribute service requests across the instances based on three different URLs. Which networking product or service referred here? You have an option. Option A, Content Delivery Network or CDN. Option B, Application Gateway. Option C, Load Balancer. Option D, Web Application Firewall, otherwise called as WAF. The correct answer for this question is option B, Application Gateway. Let us discuss the reason. Note down the text three different URLs which is part of the question. You know, Azure Application Gateway is a web traffic load balancer that enables you to manage traffic to your web applications. Application Gateway can make routing decisions based upon additional attributes of the HTTP request. For example, if your URL path or the host headers have information something like slash images in the incoming URL, the application gateway route the traffic to a specific set of servers configured only for the images. With that, the right answer for this question is B, that is application gateway. Next question. A company investigates moving on-premises data centers in multiple locations to the cloud. The data is mission critical and all offices always need access to data sources. Changes to resource requirements are projected to be incremental and relatively easy to predict. Which cloud features could be used to ensure this? You have option elasticity, B, high availability, C, availability, D, fault tolerance, E, scalability. Look out here. This is a question that you need to be careful in terms of the understanding the wordings. The right answer for this question is option B. Let us discuss the reason for that. Fault tolerance and high availability is the right answer. The question says that it is mission critical and the resource requirements are predictable. So these are the two words that you should have to remember. And so considering these two parameters, the right answer is fault tolerance and high availability. The other things like elasticity and scalability are not are they are not the matters considering the requirement as stated in the question. Next question. A zone is geographical grouping of Azure region used to determine billing based upon dash. Option A, hours of activity. Option B, data transfer. Option C, resource deployment. Option D, peak usage period. Here, the right answer for this question is option B. And the reason is, a zone is a geographical grouping of Azure region used to determine billing based on data transfers. Billing applies to both incoming as well as the outgoing data, and it varies between the zones. That is, data transfer between zones and regions in a zone are billed. Data transfers between the zones in the same region, they are not charged. Zones do not impact any other building factors. And so the correct option for this question is option B, that is data transfers. The rest of the option, hours of activity, resource deployment, peak usage periods, are not correct with respect to this question. Next question, what support should a region have to use Azure data centers that are made available with the power, cooling, and networking capabilities independent from other data centers in the region? Option A, geographic distribution. Option B, service level agreement. Option C, availability zones. Service level agreements is not at all related to this question. So between option A and option C, the right answer for this question is option C. That is, each availability zone has a distinct power source, network, as well as the cooling. And so the C is the correct answer. Next question, application availability refers to what? Is it the SLA of the associated resource, or application support for an availability zone, or the overall time that the system is functional and working? The right answer for this question is option C. Let us discuss the reason. Availability, it quantifies the amount of time that your application or data or any resource is accessible. It does not account for any other variables affecting your connection to the cloud resource or service or any resource. I mean, it can be a data or a storage, such as with your internet service provider, failed networking hardware, or power outages, or the other factors. That is, this one, availability does not account for any of the other variables affecting your connection to the cloud service provider, such as issues with your internet service provider, failed networking hardware, or power outages. And so the right answer for this question is option C. It's a bit lengthy question. Your company has an open on-premises network that contain multiple servers. The company plans to reduce the following administrative responsibilities of network administrator. Note down the word responsibility of network administrators. Number one, backing up the application data. Number two, replicating failed server hardware. Number three, managing physical server security. Number four, updating server operating system. Number five, managing permissions to shared documents. So all the five functions, whatever stated here, normally being performed by network administrator when the entire network is at on premises. Now the question is, you need to identify which administrative responsibilities will be reduced after the planned migration. Which two responsibilities that you should have to identify and state that. So we have 1 to 5 and we need to identify which are the two things which are correct. Out of here, option C, that is number 2 and 3, 2 and 3, replacing failed hardware or managing physical server activity, are those two things that the network administrator need not worry about that. Well, again, I'm telling you, if you are given a lengthy question like this, you need to read each and every word of the question and try to understand the question. In this case, you need this portion of the question again. That is, while administrator responsibilities will be reduced. And so, here out of these options, the physical servers are owned and managed by Microsoft. As a Azure customer, you have no access to such physical servers. You cannot see them at all, or you cannot enter into their premises. Microsoft manage the replacement of the failed server hardware and the security of the physical servers. So you need not worry about them. And that's the reason the correct answer for this question is option C. Next question, deploying an app can be done directly to what level of physical granularity? So the question is, When you are deploying an application directly into a cloud environment, at what level of physical granularity that you can do that? Is it at region level or data center level or server rack? When you are creating the service, you are not going to provide any information like server rack in which it should have to be deployed or the data center number where it should have to be positioned. The only thing that you will be providing information is region, and so the right answer for this question is option A. That is, Azure organizes infrastructure around regions, which include multiple data centers. So you can pick up region you want the resource deployed to. That is what you will be doing when you are deploying an app directly into the Azure environment. That's why option A is the correct answer. Next question, you have on-premises network that contain 100 servers. You need to recommend a solution that provides additional resources to your users. The solution must minimizes the capital and operational expenditure cost. That is capex as well as opex. What should you include in your recommendation? Option A complete migration to public cloud. Option B, an additional data center in addition to whatever you have. Option C, a private cloud. Or option D, a hybrid cloud. The right answer for this question is option D, that is a hybrid cloud. You know, a hybrid cloud is a combination of a private cloud and a public cloud. So when you have a hybrid cloud, capital expenditure is a spending of money upfront for infrastructure such as new servers. With hybrid cloud, you can continue to use on-premises servers while adding new servers in the public cloud, that is in Azure, that is an Azure environment. So adding new servers in Azure minimizes the capital expenditure cost because you are going to pay the fee for whatever you are using or whatever the service that you are going to utilize it. And so the right answer for this question is option D, that is hybrid cloud. Next question, you need to identify the type of failure for which an Azure availability zone can be used to protect access to Azure services. What should you identify? Option A physical server failure. Option B, an Azure region failure. Option C, a storage failure. Option D, Azure data center failure. You know, here you need to try to understand the hierarchy between Azure data center, availability zone, region pair, blah blah blah. And so while answering for this question, D is the correct answer. We have seen already multiple data centers forms an availability zone. Availability zone forms a region. And so regional failure is not the right answer. Storage and physical servers are part of a data center. And so data center failure shall be handled at the availability zone level in another data center. That is, each availability zone has a distinct power source, network, and cooling. You need to architect your solution to use replicated virtual machines in the zones. You can protect your apps and data from the loss of a data center. That is, if one zone is compromised, then replicated apps and data that are instantly made available from another zone. And that's why option D is the correct answer for this question. Next is, which of the following situation would you yield the most benefits from relocating an on-premises data stored to Azure? Option A, unpredictable demand that increases and decreases multiple times throughout the year. Option B, long-term steady growth in storage demand. Option C, consistent unchanging storage demand. Here, consistent unchanging storage demand, if that is an option, we need not go to the cloud, and so it is not the right answer. Long-term steady growth in the storage demand, that we cannot say at any given point in time. So with that, the first option A is left out, and that is the right answer for this question. That is, all unpredictable demand over a period of time shall be handled either using Azure's Azure features like agility, scalability, elasticity, which are the best in features of cloud. And so the right answer for this question is option A. Next question, suppose your organization has a limited amount of funding. Why using Azure data storage over on-premises solution would be better choice for your organization? The options are to ensure you run on a specific hardware, which will let you form a marketing partnership with the hardware vendor, something like Dell, even Microsoft or any other stuff. Next is Next option is the Azure pay as you go model lets you to avoid buying expensive hardware. That is upfront investments kind of stuff. Option B, to get exact control over the location of the data store. So the right answer for for this question is option B. That is, the main advantage for your organization is pay as you go model that will help you to save lots of cost in terms of the capex, and also it minimizes various stuff including maintenance and other stuff. And so right option for this question is option B. True or false? Azure China is operated by Microsoft. Is it true or false? The right answer for this question is B, that is false. Because China East and China North, these are the regions available through the unique partnership between Microsoft and another Chinese company called 21 via net, whereby Microsoft does not directly maintain the data center. This is mainly due to Chinese laws and regulatory requirements. Next question, true or false? Azure government is operated by Microsoft. When you say Azure government, it indirectly refers Azure US government. So the options for this question true or false. The right answer for this question is option A. That is the correct answer. Azure government or US government or Azure US government is for exclusively for the federal US government operations. And the data centers are in US, which are directly operated and maintained by Microsoft. And so the right answer for this question is option A, that is true. True or false? Azure government is available only to US government agencies and their partner. We have seen answer for this question in the previous, based upon the previous question answer. And so the right answer for this question is option A. Next question, you need to view a list of planned maintenance events that can affect the availability of Azure subscription. Which blade should you use from the Azure portal? There are two blades or a kind of an options. One is Azure Health Blade and another option given is Maintenance Blades. The right answer for this question is option B. The reason is there is no maintenance blades as such exist in the Azure portal. Here, the Service Health Blade, which provide a personalized view of the status of the Azure services and regions, as well as the information about the incidents, planned migrations or maintenance, or any health advisories with respect to the resources or services. And so A is the right answer. Next is Azure. Microsoft Azure is currently has dash many number of regions worldwide. We have options like 12, 22, 44 and 55 plus. As of now, there are close to 60 plus Azure regions are available, which are managed. Most of the regions are managed by Microsoft directly, and so option D is the correct answer. A Azure region dash kind of definition for Azure region. Option A, it contains one or more data centers that are connected by using low latency network. The next option contains one or more data centers that are connected by using high latency network. The difference between the option A and option B is where in option A we are using low latency, in option B we are using high latency. The option C is can be found in every country in Europe and Americas only. Option D is found in each country where Microsoft has a subsidiary office. The right answer for this question is option A. The reason is you can choose the correct answer by knocking out the wrong answers. That's another way to answer any question. Here, high latency definitely is a wrong answer. Similarly, having Azure region in every country also a wrong answer. And also Azure region only in Europe and America also a wrong answer. And that's why option A is the correct answer. Next again, true or false. You can use availability zone in Azure to protect Azure virtual machines from a data center failure. You have option like uh, yes or no. Here, the right answer for this question is option A. A is the correct answer. The reason for choosing this option is multiple data centers forms a availability zone. A VM hosted in a data center fails means the another data center which containing a VM will be brought back automatically, and so true is the right answer. That is yes is the right answer. Again, true or false. You can use availability zones in Azure to protect VMs from region failure. Slightly reworded between the previous question and here. We are talking about region failure here. So the right answer for this question is option B. Please note down the difference between the previous question and the current question. Here we are talking about regional failures. So all regional failures need to be handled in associated region pairs only. And so false is the right answer. Next, true or false. You can use availability zone in Azure to protect Azure managed disk from a data center failure. Options are yes, no. The right answer is option A, that is yes. You know, Azure managed disk are part of a data center. So any failure at a data center level will be handled in the availability zone level. So the right answer is yes. Thank you. I hope this video is helpful to you for your interview or examination preparation purpose. And we will be continuing our uh, exercise in the same concept area in my next video again for 20 questions, 20 minutes. So this is not the end. We will be continuing tomorrow. Till then, stay safe. Thank you. Bye.